Imagine if we told you that the disappearance of one of the most historic rivers in the world took place at the same time that a completely amazing discovery was made. An ancient river, which has flowed for millennia, has suddenly dried up, and in the midst of this transformation, the discovery of an ancient mythical being has emerged in the same area. Welcome to a new video where we will explore in detail the shocking discovery of Gilgamesh, the hero of Mesopotamian mythology, along with the mysterious phenomenon of the vanishing Euphrates River. The Tigris and Euphrates rivers join to form the Shatt al-Arab River, which empties into the Persian Gulf. The Euphrates flows through Syria and Iraq, rising in Turkey. It is the longest river in Western Asia, at about 1,740 miles in length. In other languages, it is called Euphrat in Armenian, Parrot in Hebrew, Firat in Turkish, and Firat in Kurdish. In Mandaic it is known as Praz, and in Mandean scripts as Praz-Ziwa in Ginza Rabbah. Mandaic scriptures view the Euphrates as an earthly version of the heavenly river Yardna. The earliest records of this river come from cuneiform texts at Shuruppak and Nippur in southern Iraq, around the 3rd millennium BC. In Sumerian, he is named Buranuna, indicating his divine character. In these beliefs, the Euphrates represents the celestial river that flows in the sky. The ancient cities of Babylon and Nineveh were located along the Euphrates River in what is now Mesopotamia. The Euphrates played a pivotal role in the development of human civilization in that region. Throughout history, the river has served as a natural boundary between different governments and empires, making it an area of great importance and controversy. The Bible makes several mentions of the Euphrates, both in the Old and New Testaments, depicting it as a powerful symbol of ancient empires. In the Old Testament, it is related to the Garden of Eden and the place of the origin of humanity. Furthermore, it is one of the 4 rivers that are mentioned as flowing from Eden after creation. It also served as the natural boundary for the country promised to the Israelites, and crossing it was illegal at the time. From a historical and mythological perspective in Mesopotamia, the discovery of the Gilgamesh statue marks a significant turning point in research. In ancient Near Eastern literature, Gilgamesh is a prominent character. It is mentioned that the kings of the East will gather their troops before the Battle of Armageddon in a place where the Euphrates River is referred to. The New Testament also mentions this river and says that it dried up in the book of Revelation to allow the kingdoms of the East to run unimpeded. There are some mentions of Gilgamesh in non-cuneiform writings. A century after George Smith noted it, the flood account in the Epic of Gilgamesh remains an open connection between the Hebrew Bible and Mesopotamian epic storytelling. Additionally, a Dead Sea Scroll manuscript called the Book of Giants may contain the name of the heroic protagonist of Gilgamesh. As one of the world's oldest heroes, Gilgamesh could be considered the grandfather of ancient and modern heroic figures. The Epic of Gilgamesh, a literary classic that originated in ancient Mesopotamia, tells the story of this legendary king. The epic tells of the travels of Gilgamesh, a king who ruled Uruk, in present-day Iraq, around 2700 BC. The recent rediscovery of this epic marked a pivotal event. The advance in our knowledge of the ancient Near East also changed the way we study the Hebrew Bible in the future. The dissemination over time and in several languages of the legends of Gilgamesh demonstrates the great interest that this character generated in the ancient Near East and beyond. In archaeological excavations in places from Iraq to Turkey, fragments of the original version of the text have been found. It is widely believed that the authors of the Hebrew Bible knew the story of Gilgamesh and used this knowledge to inspire elements and contrasts in their own text. In 2003, archaeologists in Iraq believed they had discovered the lost tomb of Gilgamesh. He ruled the ancient Sumerian city of Uruk and was the protagonist of the first documented story in human history, some 3,000 years ago. This story, called the Epic of Gilgamesh, was written on clay tablets in Sumerian around 2700 BC. The narrative functioned as a memory of the life of this leader of Uruk, one of the oldest and most powerful cities in the region. It is possible that the modern name of Iraq comes from the ancient city of Uruk, although this claim is disputed. The story of Gilgamesh's adventures, his quest for immortality, and his clashes with mythical creatures is told in the Epic of Gilgamesh. In 2003, a German expedition announced that it had discovered what was believed to be the entire city of Uruk, including the supposed burial place of the famous ruler Gilgamesh. This place was surrounded by the ancient Euphrates River before its course changed. According to George Fassbender, head of the Bavarian Department of Historical Monuments in Munich, although it cannot be said with certainty that it was Gilgamesh's tomb, it bears similarities to ancient descriptions. Gilgamesh is believed to have been buried under the Euphrates in a tomb built after his death and the river's relocation. This story is preserved on clay tablets. Fassbender explained that advanced techniques allowed the discovery of the ancient city under the sands of the Iraqi desert. Structures were found that matched those mentioned in the epic, such as gardens and dwellings. Also highlighted was the discovery of a complex canal network, possibly affected by floods that destroyed some buildings. This suggests the existence of an advanced system in the area, similar to Venice but in the desert. The Tigris and Euphrates rivers have a long history and are mentioned in ancient writings, even in future predictions. These rivers have existed for thousands of years. The Tigris joins the Euphrates and empties into the Persian Gulf in a region called Shat al-Arab, near the Euphrates. Together with the Nile River in Africa, these rivers form the Fertile Crescent, a soil-rich area of the Middle East considered the cradle of civilization. Both rivers are related to Mesopotamia, a territory between them and part of the Fertile Crescent. These rivers are mentioned in ancient texts, including the Bible and Hadith, in creation and end-of-the-world prophecies, showing their antiquity. However, in recent years, the Tigris and Euphrates in the Middle East have decreased due to human activity and climate change. There is a danger that they will dry out in the coming decades, affecting the environment and biodiversity. The depletion of water has led to the extinction of species and the degradation of habitats. In addition, these rivers maintain the biological balance of the area, and their drying up has upset this balance. The drying up of the Tigris and Euphrates rivers has had positive effects on archaeology. Many ancient artifacts are being discovered in these rivers, including a city built 3,400 years ago. This occurred when the Mosul Reservoir, formerly known as Saddam Dam in northern Iraq, dried up due to the ongoing drought in the area. This city emerged from the waters of the Tigris River, specifically from the Mosul Reservoir. Archaeologists have found ruins and artifacts from the Mitanni Empire era of the Bronze Age, between 1550 and 1350 BC. It is also thought that the urban center, which contains large buildings and palaces, may have been the ancient metropolis of Zahiku. Although these rivers could be endangered in the future, they are still useful. Despite the risk of losing these valuable resources, we continue to access them. If the water levels continue to drop, we will find more historical relics, but this will require a significant financial cost.